I'm not. I don't think setting targets is a right policy. If you look at on Friday, for example, the pound dollar, the pound Aussie, and I'll do the pound Aussie now since we're talking about it. You see this capitulation, this move? If you set a target, let's say this daily low or this daily low or this daily low, you would have missed this move. And if you would have, and this is, for example, the trade that we took on Friday in the pound. We took it in the room in the morning, and I stayed with it because the market was pushing, and that was over 100 points. If I set a target over here, I would have left all this on the table. I took the profits out right at the structural point. And of course they gave it for me here because of the slippage. But once you have the trade, you stay with it. Once it begins to pay you, there is no reason for you to get out as long as you're getting paid, Phil. As long as you're getting paid, you stay with the trade. And now your target would be one structural point above the price, and the structural point, if you're selling it, for the structural point to be below the price. Okay? So now, since we're talking about that, since I started with the pound Aussie, let's finish the pound Aussie now. Now, if we're looking at the pound Aussie, you can see that we are in a downtrend. The market has been selling off. The British pound is fundamentally weak. Everybody is talking about trying to raise the interest rates, and of course they're not going to do anything with that regards. What we had now is the sell-off, because a lot of people are going into the Australian dollar as a safe haven now. It is one of the strongest currencies in the world, and they are also fleeing the US dollar, and they're fleeing the British pound, and they're fleeing the euro per se. So the safe haven, or the as a currency where you should be putting your money in, or most of the traders will be hedging their bets with, is in the Australian dollar, and therefore you see this capitulation in the British pound, and this is a perfect setup for us. Why? Because we do have a structural point of 158.34. It was tested on Friday at the capitulation, and I mean, it's amazing, these structural points. I mean, it just came there and it stopped 10 pips, less than 10 pips away from that structural point, and we had a little bit bounce closing at 158.56. So this is again an easy setup, an easy trade for us. So we'll be looking. I'm going to the intraday to pinpoint our trade. So this is our structure point. Let me change the color for it, because the way we color our the chart is, this is our structure point. So right now, this here, that structure point, or this low of the day, is going to be our selling point. So we're going to sell or short right here. This is our selling point, because this is where it stopped yesterday, and it is our selling point. So I'm going to go short below 158, let's say 30, which is the low of the day. And because this is such a structure point, we're going to do exactly what I did on Friday. This is, if it breaks below the structure, I'm staying with it. Bounces back off the structure, I'm taking my profits and getting out. Why? Because it's a structure point. So I'm going to place my stop right there, my short stop right above the structure. So now I have my short on the pound Aussie is easy. Now I want to find a trade for me to go to buy it on the long side, because we always have to have two plans. This move, guys, is tremendous. You're looking from 160, close to 161, all the way down to 158. You're looking at a 300 points move to the downside. So any move here, any trade to the upside until the 159 or the 159.50 is going to be what we call a gift. So this is going to be my buy above 159.50. That's my buying point. And if I do buy it above the 159.50, I'm going to use the market side as my stop, my protective stop at 159. And my structure short is obvious, the 158.34. And as far as my structure long, there is nothing close by to use. It might be a very short structure or a very weak structure, but we can use it as an identification just because we don't want to leave too much money on the table. It's going to be the 159.50. That's going to be our short-term structure. It is not as strong as the 162.17. Okay, so to set up the pound Aussie, we are going to numbers. We are going to buy, and look at this, our long point from last week was the 159.40. We're trying to buy it now at 159.60, which is pretty much, I can still hear that between 50 and 40 is absolutely nothing. So this, again, you had this buy point that was valid from last week is going to be still valid as of this week, which makes it double strong. Our selling point is going to be the 158.34, which is our structure point, which is also our structure point, our structure short point. So my selling point is my structural short. My structure long is now not going to be the 162, it's going to be the 159.50 or 3. And if I buy it at 159.50, I'm going to place my stop. Look, it's brilliant, setting 159 even, and my short stop is going to be the structural point, which is the 158.34. So to wrap it up, the pound Aussie, we're going to go short, long above 159.50, and if I do, I'm placing my stop at 159. I will go short below 158.34, which is also my structural point. And if that's the case, if my structure point is the same as my short point or long point, then it becomes my stop. So this means I will give it a few pips on either side of it, but I don't want it to come back above the 158.34 and stay there for a long time. My next structure long to the upside is the, what's that? It's the same? Wow. That does make sense. Well, it seems I'm buying I was taking this, it turned out to be the same thing as the structure, which makes it pretty good, actually double strong. So the buying point is the 159.50. It is also my structure, and in this case the same rule applies. So I'm going to change, because we trade by rules, we follow rules. The rule is if my structure point is my selling point or buying point, then it also becomes my stop. So it's going to be my stop. So this means I'm just going to give it a little bit of room at it. Okay, that is the pound.